Hey everyone, my name is Adam Michael Anthony Simpson and you're watching my YouTube channel, Adam M.A. Simpson. Today we'll be making one of my favorite crowd pleasers, saltfish fritters and pressed plantain. So I found an amazing Mexican grocery store that sells saltfish or bacalao in Spanish and green plantain, as well as some other Jamaican provisions that we can't find easily up here in California. I have here white yam and sweet potato, like a Jamaican sweet potato, which it has a different texture than the normal yams that you get here. White yam is another ground provision or like root tuber that we eat. I think it's native to West Africa. That's where we got it from in our diets. Through the slave trade, and yeah, it's very hearty food. Yeah, I tend to prefer dasheen, or what people call up here taro, but the white yams are nice as well. So to start off with the saltfish fritters, we need to take our saltfish. This is a salted cod loin. And then we need to boil it or scald it to get rid of some of the salt. Now, if you're worried about saltiness, you can soak it in water overnight and then boil it the following day, changing the water. But how I grew up, we just boiled it and then used it after that. So I'm going to put it in a pot of boiling water that I had on before we started. And then I'm going to get to chopping up all the vegetables for the saltfish fritters, or as we call stamp and go. Now I'm also going to rinse the saltfish in a little bit of cold water at the end just to get rid of some more excess salt. That's because I didn't soak it overnight. So just another side note. Now the other added ingredients to my saltfish, I have a couple sprigs, my saltfish fritters that is, I have a couple sprigs of thyme. Now, fresh thyme, that is. Thyme is essential. Fresh thyme is essential to Jamaican cooking. Anything savory always has thyme. Actually, everything Jamaican tends to take a lot of time to cook because we develop flavor over a long period of time. Yeah. Yeah, so fresh thyme is a must, as well as scallion. Scotch bonnet peppers, I unfortunately don't have Scotch bonnet. I have a habanero, which is a slightly less peppery version or member of the same family as the Scotch bonnet pepper, but it still has a similar aroma, so we can use it to cook with. I have a quarter of an onion, a large yellow onion, and 3.5 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to mince these, and also a plum tomato. I'm going to mince these up into very small pieces before adding a cup of flour and a half a cup of water, cold or room temperature water to start with. And then we'll see how the batter looks and then maybe add some more water at the end. Yeah, this is a very simple recipe besides the saltfish if you've never used it before. Saltfish is used in many European cuisines, and because Jamaica was colonized by Britain and Spain, Britain and Spain, we eat saltfish and like traditionally eat saltfish from post-emancipation times in Jamaica. So very much a part of our culture. And actually, I think in Italy they have a very similar saltfish fritter that they cook during the Christmas time, especially during Christmas Eve. But I think they use potatoes in their fritters. So it's more of like a potato puff fried fritter kind of texture. I've had it before. It's really good. Yes. So let's get to cutting these up, and then we're gonna make the fritters. Now for the pepper. Do this last and be careful. Try not to have any of the seeds in the batter if you're afraid of spice. Beep. Now we're gonna add the thyme. Now to put leaves to take the leaves off of a thyme sprig, you take one sprig and you actually hold the top end of the sprig, and then you go down towards the stem, the connection to the stem. The leaves actually come off way easier, and the part on the top that you can pull off with your finger or give with your finger when you're pulling are tender enough to go into the batter. So my great grandmother, when she had parties, used to just fry up some saltfish fritters as like appetizers because it would serve so many people. Yeah. Here are the aromatics. Now I want to do the slightly messy part where it's to kind of fry the saltfish so that we can add it to our bowl of aromatics before adding the flour. Now I used this saltfish loin from this batch a couple days ago, and I found some bones. So that's something to look out for if you're buying. Not all the time will it be boneless. See, I have a nice pretty big bone right there. So yeah. Hey, so I have my aromatics, 4 ounces of saltfish. I have my cup of flour, and I added a secret ingredient, not so secret, but ingredient I love, which is just adding a teaspoon of curry powder to the flour that we're gonna add to the Stamp and Go batter or saltfish fritter batter. And yeah, I'm gonna mix it now with around a half a cup of water, and then I'll add more as I go along if needed. As I was saying, we have our aromatics, tomato, onion, thyme, habanero, garlic mixture with our 4 ounces of saltfish that we've separated from any skin and bones, and a cup of flour with special ingredient, which is a teaspoon of curry powder. I love that flavor when you add the curry. And notice here we don't need to add any salt whatsoever. The saltfish is going to bring the salt for us. So adding everything together now. And saltfish. And then around half a cup of water. And this batter should resemble pancake batter. You want it to be, yeah, like a pancake, and we're gonna fry it in a decent amount of oil. It's not a deep fry, but it's not a sear either, or like making pancakes. It's in some oil. So we want it to be crispy, and you should be able to see the batter like bubbling from the oil, especially on the edges. This isn't enough water. Might need to add some more. And here is the batter. These are going to be so good. Yes, so we're going to do the pressed plantain. And I've already peeled the 2 plantains, and I saved the skin of one of the plantains. And we're going to use this to press the plantain that we fried, because this is a double 2 times fried recipe. Is very easy. It's just that you have to fry, then crush the plantain, and then fry it again to get it crispy and flat, almost like a cracker. And actually, this is a gluten-free alternative with a punch of flavor to a cracker at any, charcuterie board if you want, or any appetizer for a nice dinner or breakfast. Today we're actually going to put a smear of cream cheese with some pepper jelly on top of the pressed plantain, as well as pepper jelly with the stamp and go or the saltfish fritters. So to do this recipe, it's very simple. We're just going to slice the plantain and then fry, and then crush with the skin of the plantain, and then fry again. So we're going to fry the plantains first, then fry the saltfish fritters in the same oil, and then once we're done with frying the saltfish fritters, we're going to crush and refry the plantain. So kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Simple. So slicing my plantain. Frying now. Yes, so we have our nice Dutch oven, or in Jamaica what we call Dutch pot, on the stove, and we're going to put it on slightly above medium heat. And right here I have another very crucial Jamaican ingredient, which is allspice, or what we call pimento berries. And I'm just going to add it to the oil to infuse some flavor into the oil. And we'll also use that as a gauge to see if the oil is ready to fry in, because you'll start to see the berries sizzle once the oil is hot enough. See, as you can see, the berries are starting to sizzle and the oil is getting hot. So I'm going to start adding my plantain to the oil. And I don't know if you knew this before, but you know, if you fry in oil when the oil isn't hot enough, um, your food actually retains more oil. So it's very important to have um, warm enough oil when you're frying. And it's also important that you don't add cold food, or if you're adding cold food, that you don't add a lot at once in the oil at one point, because then you reduce the temperature of the oil and then you cause problems. So yeah, just a little food science for you right there. I'm not explaining why, because I don't know why, but I just knew this, I think, from watching Good Eats with Alton Brown. Very good show on Food Network. So just adding my plantain. I'm adding all of it right now, by the way. So, and I generally wouldn't recommend putting a wooden cutting board on a stove, but I think we have enough space so that the wooden cutting board won't get burnt. And here I have a baking sheet that I've already laid with some paper towel to soak up any of the oil that the food retains when it's done frying. So yeah. So I'm going to take out my plantains now and set aside to press them with the plantain skin. But I want them to cool down a bit. Now we're going to fry our stamp and go, or saltfish fritters. I'm gonna get a nice measuring cup. I'm gonna use a quarter cup, and we don't want to fill this. We definitely don't want to fill the pan up too much. So we're gonna do a little bit at a time. And this might be violent, so be careful. If you're afraid of fire, wear long sleeves. Awesome. All right, so now we're going to press the plantain and fry one more time. And we have our skins from the green plantain that we saved, and then we take one of the plantains that was just cooled off, and then we press like so, and then we fry again. If you have a tortilla press, you can use that as well. wait to eat this. This looks so good. Wow. I have here, I put some cream cheese on my pressed plantain, and I have some pepper jelly, some regular pepper jelly. I got this one from Trader Joe's, love Trader Joe's, and their pepper jelly. I'm gonna taste it now. So good. Now, let me taste the saltfish fritter with some pepper jelly as well. It's bringing me back home. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe and click the notification button so you know when I post a new video. And please try this recipe. I'll put it in the description box below. And see you next week.